How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm here with my Uncle D. His name's Uncle Donnie. He's been an entrepreneur for how long now?
Oh, 22.
22. I honestly had no idea you were in the game. Like, until recently. Very, very recently.
Alright.
Yeah, it's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie. So, like, I'm always interested, okay, in, like, the very, very beginning of an entrepreneur's, like, career. So you're working 9 to 5, you're quite young, okay? Working the normal job. What was that switch that was like, I want to be an entrepreneur? Like, what was that switch for you?
Well, to be honest, it wasn't a decision that I made because I thought I was bored or whatever. At the time, the company that I worked for they had some financial difficulties. So they started retrenching loads of people, and the middle management guys kind of got canned first. So to give you a little bit of backstory, I was in the fire department. I was a paramedic, and I started a young family, and I decided the shifts, the kind of work I was doing, I needed to do less dangerous work.
So you were a fireman, sorry?
Yes, I was a fireman.
Oh, okay.
I worked for a company that produced refrigeration units, fans, and I was the production planner. So that tier of management was retrenched. So this is 1995, 96. South Africa is in a change politically. There weren't many opportunities for me. So I was forced to use the little bit of experience that I had to start my own business.
So you created these fans? Started these fans?
At first, I couldn't do that. I didn't have the resources,
okay.
I didn't have the finances to start something like that. So all I did was I became the middleman. I went out to businesses and said, look, I can provide you a service, I can go find the fan, I can install it for you and give you a turnkey product. So that's how I started. My business was just fitting things that were already existing. Over time, it changed from the company that I was slowly building up, which was very slow. The business really didn't grow very much until about 10 years later.
When everyone wanted fans.
Well, the thing with fans is that there's always somebody that needs a fan.
Exactly.
Yeah. The market just remains. People need ventilation.
No, 100%. And especially with all the construction happening just everywhere.
Everywhere.
So like you need a warehouse, you need like just a modern day house, you need air conditioning.
Yes. Yeah. So we got a company called Multiwing to give us license in South Africa to represent them. Because the previous person that was managing their portfolio in South Africa came to retirement age, and they needed to replace him. With a more professional, well, not more professional, but a younger group of people. So that's when the company that I have now kind of was born. Because it was a Danish company. They came to us, did an interview. They actually spoke to 2 or 3 other companies as well to represent them, and then they went with us. So that's when we really got into the manufacturing side of things. We building impellers.
So you actually ended up buying a company that was building propellers already?
No. The existing company that I had, that was fitting air conditioning equipment, extractor system for toilets. We just changed what we were doing. So we had the same staff, same building. We just said, okay, we're going to start concentrating on actually building the impeller component. Which was nice because there's a lot of OEM companies around, regional manufacturers that need this. So we had customers right off the bat.
Yeah.
We just had to make sure that we service them properly.
That's what I noticed. Like just with any business in general, what my mentors were telling me as well, is that like if you can't sell to everybody. You always have to have some kind of a niche, like with like a fan or whatever, or just whatever you're making, even if it's online content like I'm doing, it's got to be a niche, because like they use the analogy of, oh, you're walking down into a train station and you shout, hey everybody, no one's gonna listen to you. walk down to the same train station and go, "Hey, John," you're gonna get a few heads turning. Yeah.
You need to identify who you're selling to.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about the entrepreneurship side of things, when this whole situation developed that I needed to start my own business to get employment, so I have to employ myself. I did a business management course through UNISA. So the very first little booklet that I had to go through was a little book. I think the title was you want to start your own business. It's like a little self-help little book of 30 pages. The foreword, the very first line is, the first word of advice if you want to start your own business, don't. So this is now the first line that I read during a business course.
Yeah.
And the man's thoughts were, the amount of energy, the amount of risk that go into being an entrepreneur, to start something, is enormous.
Yeah.
The debt that you can incur, if you have a great idea, you can have a fantastic product. Let's just go back 150 years. There's a company that makes buggy whips for horse and carts. They make the very best little click.
Yeah, okay.
Little noise. Yes. Okay. They make the finest. People go from different countries to come purchase their buggy whips.
I didn't know that's what those things were called. Buggy whip.
Little buggy whip, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a little holder in the front of your little cart or whatever you want to run. Put it in. Now, the automobile arrived.
Yeah.
People are not having buggies anymore. They're having Ford Model Ts. They don't need a buggy whip.
They need a gearbox.
There's a business that now have a fine product. It's dead. They don't have a market for it anymore. What does that guy do?
He has to innovate. 100%.
He has to completely change what he's doing.
Yeah.
So, what does he do? He sells his product. He's got reams of leather the buggy whips are made out of. Let's make seats for the cars. See, now, don't go after something that is, you have a fantastic idea that you can sell. But there isn't a guy on the other end that wants it. You can make the finest product. You need to give it to somebody. Somebody needs to be prepared to pay for it.
Yeah, I would also recommend starting in a market that is already there. Creating attention and creating a market is most probably the hardest thing that you can do, and you need professionals backing you in order to do that. But with this thing, like you said, things change so quickly with the internet as well. Email was one of the biggest ways for people to advertise. Now email's dead, and Facebook used to be the biggest social media site or whatever. Now Instagram, everyone's jumping around on Instagram, but people are also now looking at LinkedIn as well and going, how can LinkedIn's also showing something. So it's on the internet, real world, same thing. Stuff changes so quickly.
No matter look, it's very fluid the way you can market yourself. But the big thing is a story. Your customer need to identify with you in some fashion. How you do that is,
it's like branding.
Yeah, and it's also, you need to connect to that person on the other side. For example, the Mug and Bean, they had a little thing in the very beginning where they told a story about they had a coffee bean place where they roasted the beans and there was a fire, destroyed the place. So there were the two owners of the business was Mr. Mug and Mr. Bean. So the two chaps, one unfortunately died that evening. So this whole mess of a fire and all the coffee beans have been burnt and roasted. It's like a very aromatic.
Well, who died, Mug or Bean?
Forget. I don't think that's important because the story was rubbish anyway.
Okay.
It was just a little tale where you sit at the coffee shop and you read this little story. And suddenly you have a little connection to this whole place you're sitting.
Mug and Bean. You're
sitting at the Mug and Beans. This guy, there was a story. There was a very terrible event, and this coffee shop is created from that. It's just a connection. You just,
People love a story.
yeah, they love a story.
Yeah, that's how you sell, like, you know, those pens that cost thousands upon thousands of dollars and rands. Like, it's story. Like, this is a Tom Ford or this is a
Yeah.
James Bond pen. Same story.
That's not the value of the pen.
Yeah, exactly.
It's-
The manufacturing price was about the same as your plastic
yeah,
pen.
in the evening when you have a chat with your friends at dinner and you say, "I got this pen, and this pen was featured in the James Bond movie." Now that is
Yeah, people want that. Yeah, exactly.
as far as being an entrepreneur, the best advice I would give is work in the industry that you are interested in. Even if you are just an intern, if you walk up to, let's have an example. Which company, what product would you want to sell?
Would I want to sell?
Yes.
Well, I'm very great at providing a service beforehand. So my business strategy is just provide value. So in the beginning now with this podcast and with all the stuff I'm doing, I'm just going to provide value for 1 year straight. Just make all my content that I ever create free before I make any kind of product. So, but I think my first product will most probably be like an audiobook or something, how to grow a business, how to grow your social media, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, that's most probably going to be my first product, I guess.
Right. If you could find a company that's providing the service already, approach them and ask for an internship, even if you go there unpaid. Just to absorb that creativeness, the value of that place, before you do it on your own, because you're going to invest a lot of time, money. You're probably going to need some kind of support. If you can start off, that step ahead, and you already have a way to support yourself and the business, you're way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Just to start with just the idea, and go to a bank or to an investor and say, you have to invest in this idea, and it fails. You're starting very young with heaps of debt. You don't want that.
Yeah, that's one thing that I didn't want. That's one thing I promised myself, an entrepreneur, or just with managing my money in general. I won't never buy something I can't afford. Doesn't matter whether it's university, doesn't matter whether it's a car, pay, or even as big as a house. If I can't afford it, I can't afford it, and therefore I'm not going to buy it. And it just saves you from that thing, because like I see investment in well, not investment, but what's it called, getting money from the bank or whatever, not as a way to speed you up, but as a way to slow you down. I want to see it in the long term. It slows you down way more than it will ever speed you up.
You're going to find that you will need financial help somewhere, and if a bank will provide that for you. If I can give you advice about the finance of things, rather have a small business loan than getting an overdraft facility. Just the sheer expense of it. There was a mistake that my company made, my little company made.
Overdraft is
as a like a revolving credit on your bank account. So you go into a negative.
No.
So the bank will loan you that money, but the fees is astronomical.
Interest rate.
Yeah. So at the time, I thought, look, this is just short term. I'm gonna need this for a month or two. It turns out if I rather approached it saying, this project is going to cost 50,000 rand. Let me go to the bank and ask for a loan for that 50,000 rand, and I'm repaying it over a predetermined time, 3 years, 5 years, whatever you did. Arrange with the bank, they would have been a lot less expensive than asking for an overdraft facility thinking I'm just going to bounce out of this. It turns out that something happens. You have a delivery vehicle, so anything breaks down, you now need to repair it. There's costs that you suddenly don't have. What do? You dip into your overdraft facility, so you never seem to get out of that.
So what about actually like working? Or let's say you get that internship, you work for like a year or so, and then you ask for pay, and then with that pay, you use like the extra time and stuff that you get, or the time when you get home to, build your business, and then you use your income to support that thing, to support that project.
That's good.
Yeah.
You must try and whatever new business you're starting up, try and make the load on that little business as little as you can. So if you've got a part-time job or some other means of supporting yourself, and then on the side build up your little business, that's a good way to approach it.
Yeah, that's what I was told to do. The thing is, though, like when with people my age as well, and just people in the school system, it's super difficult to get a job that actually interests me, but as well as is like in my niche that what I'm trying to do. Because like I actually took that advice of trying to get an internship, and I contacted every single radio station because this is what I wanted to do. Every single radio station in Cape Town. Emailed them, created individually emailed them as well, just like not like a copy paste sort of thing. Emailed them, created a CV. I ticked all the boxes. Like I was professional. Nada. Like so, it's just I gotta give school credit. It helps you out a lot. Like to have that diploma behind you. That's all people want to see. All people want to see. So like that's why I started walking dogs in my area, and that. that was enough to put money into the business that I'm starting now, because I specifically started an online business because I wanted to cut costs. Like I can't obviously start a radio station, I can't pay rent, I can't do this, but having a little YouTube channel posting podcasts every now and again, I can afford that.
Really good luck with that. I mean,
yeah,
it could be an earner.
Yeah. It's just the thing is like running two businesses at the same time is like, it's hard, but I mean, it was the only thing I could do because it's like, otherwise, I mean, maybe I could have worked in music or ShopRite or something, but I just really wanted my time to be spent like within my niche getting stuff done, you know? It's not just about the money, it's about like what you're learning in that sector and stuff. So yeah,
correct.
100%. Anyway, let's read my notes.
Ladies and gentlemen, question time.
So what were some of the greatest struggles you went through in your business journey?
Greatest struggles?
Greatest struggles. Besides like you were saying, the whole money thing of paying off that.
Finance, yeah. I mean, one of the biggest difficulties we had is because we had a very niche product. There's not many companies that do what we do. My customer produces his own ventilation stuff. So if it's a refrigeration unit, a extract fan, he provides all the electric motors, the casing, the mounting stuff. We just give him the fan part. You will come to us and say, this is the amount of air I need, this is the pressure that I expect in my system, and this is how much kilowatts is available. Give me a solution. And that's give him the solution, and I sell him this product. Now the bigger companies that provide a whole turnkey equipment for the industry,
like the whole
thing,
yeah,
they can do what I do, but it's like a pain. They don't want to really use their impeller to put it on another guy's stuff. So we found that some of the bigger players were having problems. The market was down, they needed to bump up sales, and they thought, well, that avenue is available to us. So the biggest boys suddenly were doing what I was doing.
Extractor fans.
And they were supplying impeller components to original equipment people, which is exactly in my backyard. So when I had a little pond, and I was the only fish in that pond. Suddenly I had a whole lot of other fish in the same pond. Massive fish in my pond. And I couldn't, where they could work on volume and have very small margins on profit, I couldn't do that. So for a while there, I was livid. I thought, these are the big boys. Why would they come mess in my little? I've got a very small little market. I'm not a threat to them.
Yeah.
But they are busy killing my business.
Do you think they actually saw your business and did this on purpose, or tried saw the potential in it?
I had I felt at the time that this was malicious. They were doing this on purpose, you know. Okay, turns out they were just looking for a sale. The fact that they stomped all over me is, they probably didn't realize until I pointed it out to them.
So how did you fix this? Did you beat them in quality?
I beat them in delivery. Yes, I beat them in quality. The product was superior in many ways because it's so versatile, and I could provide it very quickly. Where the bigger boys, they had delivery times and schedules and factories and assembly lines where you arrive and you say, I want that fan, and you say, well, I can give it to you. You're gonna have to wait 3 weeks. And you think, I don't want to wait. You come to me and I say, well, you can have it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But my problem is, or not my problem, or the difference is, you can have it tomorrow, but it's going to cost you a little bit more. If you wait the 3 weeks, fine, for a cheaper price.
Yeah, people either have time, money, or skills. I think that's what it was. It's time, money, or skills, and you can give them either or. Yeah.
So I can provide them a very good product. It's going to be more expensive, but they're going to beat the clock by 3 weeks. So that company or that customer can get his product out to his wherever the end use is 3 weeks ahead of schedule, or 3 weeks quicker than. So that's where our strength was to solve that problem, and still is today.
And did you build your brand around yourself, like Uncle Donnie's fans, or like do you own like a personal brand, or is there like a logo?
There's a logo. There's the company name, which at the time I don't know, we weren't arrogant, but we just thought we needed to sound a little bit more professional than the next guy. So we called ourselves the Masters, Fan Masters.
Fan Masters.
There was a bit of a tongue-in-cheek thing.
Fan Master.
But it turns out
I want to be a Fan Master.
So it turns out that in some areas we were the Fan Masters. Besides the actual product, which has got so much research and development behind it, it's a really, really good product. And it's versatile. It can be used for minus 60 degrees Celsius to like oven fans, and it can be completely reversible. It's just, the spectrum is huge. It's a really good product, and the fact that we can give it so quickly, and we can build one and we can adjust it. That was our strength.
It's like that culture. Like people are attracted to that culture of the masters, of fans. You know, you bring that. It's like, it's just like there's an element to it where people are attracted to like actual human beings. Like people can't look at a logo or look at this and be like, have a connection with that. But small businesses, lots of culture, you got it. Yeah.
We try to have a personal relationship with our customers.
Exactly.
I'd like to. It does happen where I lose the sale, but it's no point is getting upset about it. When I go back to the customer, I said, "Do you still want this thing?" And they said, "No, we went with company X." No, that's fine. It's not a problem.
It's no failure. There's only feedback.
Thanks for that. Can you tell me why I lost the sale? Why it didn't go with us? And usually it would be something of it was a requirement from the end user that they needed a specific brand, or which is acceptable. That's fine. So, then thanks, Tom. All good. Next time, and you want to keep that relationship open.
Yeah, don't burn your bridges.
Get upset.
There's no point. Yeah.
Even though you hang up the phone and you think, lost out. But
sometimes there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do about it. There's no need to dwell on it too much. I'm a person that I'll go over the thing over and over, thinking, what did I do wrong?
Yeah. How do you actually deal with failure in a business? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I had to learn not to dwell on the thing for too much. Try and find out if there was a mistake made, if I can be better the next time around, and then move on. It's not always as easy as that.
Mm.
Especially if you put a lot of effort and a lot of time into something. To deal with failures in the sense of if you invested money and time into it, yeah, that's a little bit different.
Yeah, it depends on the failure. Yeah.
But if it's just your time and you spent a little bit of effort trying to find a solution for the guy and he moved to somebody else.
If you could tell the Uncle Donnie who was working a 9-to-5 job some advice for business, what would you tell that old or younger Uncle Donnie about in one piece of business advice? What would you tell him?
Well, I would love to give him an essay and then slap him on the ear and say, wake up. Don't go too big too fast. It's one of the things that was a mistake at the back then, which still kind of painful now. We grew too fast too quickly. We just to give you a little backstory, I told you we started that little company. The company started installing stuff. So we fitted ventilation fans into bathrooms, into little factories, kitchens. It doesn't matter. I grabbed every bit of work that I could. Mistake number one was a friend came to me and said his air conditioning company is failing, and he's decided to give it all up. He's going to become a salesperson. I think he's selling truck tires now. Anyway, I bought his company for the princely sum of a rand.
A sum of a rand?
I paid him for a rand. I said, I'll buy your business, but I'm not buying your debt. I'm buying basically the staff.
You buy debt? Why would you buy debt?
Well, you can. You can buy somebody's debt. But anyway, that's a long story.
Okay,
but I said to him, look, the debt that you have incurred is your problem.
Yeah.
Because he came to me with a request, is please save this business, because his dad or his father bought the business for him. So he felt morally obliged to at least save something for his father's investment or his pension or whatever. So I agreed to that. I said, I'll get this business back up and running and be a partner with his father. But whatever debt has been incurred, I don't want that. So it was just a changeover of name, really, where I became a 50% partner in this air conditioning company. And business was good, and I grew too fast. I spent money which didn't come in quick enough. And it took almost 2 years for me to realize this thing's not going to work. The fact that I'm spending so much money trying with staff, because that's the other thing that caught me out, is I suddenly had to pay, I think it was 4 staff members. I had to pay their medical aid, not medical, but like a medical assistant, little policy that we opened for them, the PAYE, all the other stuff that went along with it. I wasn't really prepared for them. So I had this big idea, I'm going to grow this air conditioning business, and it just went too fast. And it absorbed so much money from the little business on the fan side, which was actually profitable. So the profits from the one company was being absorbed by this growing little air conditioning side of things, and that was a mistake. My advice to myself would have said, don't grow too fast, too quickly. Take it slow. Make sure that you can actually maintain this.
Yeah, you got to look at because that's one thing that I was also told about, is that your profit margin can so easily be cut, and you don't even realize it because there's so much revenue coming in. But it's not about the revenue. You can't go to the bank and cash in revenue, cash in profits. So it's like you always gotta watch that gap. So it doesn't matter how much, if you're spending all this money on medical aid, you know, employees, all sorts of stuff, it may seem like you're doing really well, but if you look at the books, you're paying for all of this and your revenue is like here. So it's like your profit's not even.
Because that's a very important part as well. Have a decent bookkeeper, an auditor, somebody that can every now and then give you a breakdown and say, this is what's happening. You need to reflect on what your business is in fact doing. Because as you say, you might think, gee, look at the bank. There's cash. We're doing really well.
Yeah.
But you forget that 2 months from now there's a VAT bill coming that's going to kill all the money in that bank account. So sometimes you lose sight of the actual expenses that's following.
But yeah, piece of advice is watch the.
Make sure
you don't grow too quickly.
Yes.
Well, that is that, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you got a couple of nuggets of information there. Just it was an interesting one. Like, I'd never spoke to you about your business before. So
this is true.
Yeah, this is true. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, we have an Instagram page down below in the description. We post real cool stuff there every single day. Why not? Do you guys have a website? Yeah.
Yes, we do. Fanmasters.com.
I'll put that in the description. If you guys need fans, or if you're a fan master, get a fan. Cheers, man.